the part where you said that you are a fan of supplying more evidence, right? And I just think I want people to understand that, and I'm sure you've been guilty of it. I've probably been guilty of it, of, you just need to meet that threshold of equality, right? In evidence somewhere. Now, a lot of times I'm saying, hey, look, ask for a Nexus letter that says more than likely. You'd prefer that, but you can back down to at least as likely. And so when people are hearing these words, at least as likely, the whole reason you're hearing any of us on YouTube say at least as likely, or if you buy a t-shirt from Clay that says at least as likely, right? You are going to now understand why we're always talking about that. And it's because there is actually rules in place for the VA to follow. Do they get it right? No, they don't always get it right, but sometimes they do. And look, I would argue that more times than not, the VA probably gets it right, but there's a big chunk. And when you're talking about millions of claims, a small percentage is tens of thousands of people. So, they're not going to get it right all the time. That's why the appeal process is in place, both internally and externally from the VA. And so the way that it works, and I'm just going to walk you through it real quick. You file a claim with, I filed enough evidence. I feel good with, I'm not going overkill. I don't have enough time to, really double down on everything. That's enough for them to decide. And you feel okay about it, because you haven't watched Clay on the CivDiv saying evidence-based and just, make sure it's all there before you file it. It's very important that you put the work in up front. But let's just say that you put in enough. So you do that, the VA comes back with an unfavorable decision. We prefer here to say unfavorable because denied infers that, well, you are not service-connected. Well, you could be service-connected, but you could have a lower rating, right? So unfavorable decision. Now you have options. You can do higher level review. You could do a supplemental claim. You could push it to the Board of Veterans Appeals. At the Board of Veterans Appeals, it's seen by a law judge. Well, they could kick it back. They have three options. They could remand it, send it back to the VA for additional information. They could deny it, which sucks because you've already had unfavorable decisions up till then, or they could approve it. Well, let's say that they deny it. If they deny it, that's an unfavorable decision. You now have another recourse. Actually, a lot of people out there don't realize there is another court that you can send it to, and it is the U.S. Court of Veterans Appeals. So inside of our process of veterans claims, we have kind of like a lower court and a higher court. You have BVA, the Board of Veterans Appeals, and then you have the U.S. Court of Veterans Appeals. And what the argument here is that the higher court, the U.S. Court of Veterans Appeals, has not been reviewing disputed claims with the with the eyeglass of, did all the other entities look at the benefit of the doubt rule? They have simply just been looking at the raw evidence and and the decision, and did they mess up? Oh, okay, they decided not to. Okay, well, that's fine. It looks like they checked all their boxes. Everything is the way it should be, and they weren't really investigating, if you will, whether or not the evidence was actually in equipoise. Okay, equipoise is equal on both sides. And guess what? One of the things that we learn through this process that's going with the Supreme Court, Clay, is that it's not even really equal. It's close to equal.
Yeah.
It's not even like it has to be exactly, 50 stones on this side and 50 stones on that side. No, it could be 51 and 49. And they're like, no, I don't really know. I'm not really I got all this stuff in. It's kind of close. I don't really know. So there's actually even a little gray window within the 50-50. So this is where we're at. And I'm not going to jump into what my kind of mindset is on what's going to happen. I want to kick it to you, let you fill in any of the gaps, give your overview on kind of where we're at and why we're here. And then we can kind of jump into what we foresee